And we have returned from the break here on In My Own Words, Touchdown Alabama magazine, Stephen Smith. I wanted to get into this segment on Tuesday. However, I've been ripping and running, going back and forth, but no better time like the present. We started the podcast off going over my MVPs, my 5 most valuable players from the Ole Miss matchup. And before we get into Texas A&M, as always, if you are a die-hard Alabama football fan, you love the Tide, you cannot get enough of the Tide, this has been your team from day one, and you want the best content, Touchdown Alabama magazine, get to it right now. TDAlabamamag.com, subscription $5.95, $5.95 subscription, and this gets you to our premium content. We're talking practice recap, game recaps, press conferences, highlights, interviews, all things encompassing Alabama football. All the Bama you could ever want and more. None of the junk that you don't want. $5.95 a month. Pick up that subscription. TDAlabamamag.com. Also, Touchdown Alabama magazine YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube page because of you, the fans, our fans. We're over 2,200 subscribers. Keep growing the brand as we give you the best in videos, whether it's In My Own Words podcast, The Real Deal with Devin Jackson, Bama A&M, a new show we're starting. Also, Beyond the Jersey, a podcast with former Alabama fullback and NFL star Ron McClain, as he has now joined the brand as well. So, TDAlabamamag.com, Touchdown Alabama magazine YouTube. Also, we got the apps here for the Android and the iPhone. Just so many ways to get plugged in. If you're a Tide fan, this is the spot you need to be at. This week, Crimson Tide taking on Texas A&M. Nick Saban faces the first assistant he's ever had that has gone on to be a big-time head coach. Kirby Smart's growing to be big-time. Will Muschamp's having success at South Carolina. Nick Saban has had a bunch of assistants in his career, but Jimbo Fisher was one of the first ones that went from being an assistant to being a head coach at Florida State and had a lot of success, including a BCS national championship in the 2013 season. Jimbo, a part of Texas A&M's coaching staff as the head man, travels to Tuscaloosa on Saturday. As we look at the 5 players that Alabama fans and this team as a whole must be mindful of, number 1, we start off with quarterback Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond this season, very much so improved, completing 56 of 89 pass attempts, 62.9%, for 824 passing yards. He's got 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. Here's a guy that's averaging 275 passing yards a game. He's also got 3 rushing scores. Mond is very much improved. I go back to last year, and for me, Kevin Sumlin was a good coach, but he was a finesse coach. He never understood, he never got the full gist of how physical the Southeastern Conference is. And it's the physical teams that become the best in the months of October, November, December, the months where football really matters. The months where the big contests, the big matchups, when you talk about college football playoff on the line, conference title matchups, when you're trying to get to that conference championship game on the line, rivalry week, stuff like that. When the big matchups come to play, that's when the physicality heightens. And Kevin Sumlin never got the full gist of that. Jimbo Fisher understands the full gist of that. He got it from Nick Saban. Kevin Sumlin, when he was at Texas A&M, this program did not verbally talk about championships. Under Jimbo Fisher, they are verbally talking about, we want to win championships. If we got $500 million invested in our athletic facilities, if we see ourselves on the same plateau as Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, LSU, we gotta win championships, and we gotta talk championships. And that's what Jimbo Fisher's doing. And it starts with Kellen Mond, like Dan Enos has done with Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts, cultivating both guys. Jimbo Fisher cultivating Kellen Mond. Broke him down, explained to him what he wants from him, and now you're starting to see Kellen Mond built back up. I go back to the Clemson game for just a moment. I never thought that Mond would throw for 430 yards. He did, and had 3 touchdowns in a 28-26 loss to the Clemson Tigers, though I feel like A&M should have won that game. Controversial call went on. You all know what the call is that I'm talking about. But Kellen Mond, 430 yards passing in that football game, 3 touchdowns. Last year against the Crimson Tide, the young man had some struggles early on, but he started to grow up down the stretch. Had a huge touchdown pass to Christian Kirk, finished 19 for 29 passing, 237 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. This is the first real dual threat quarterback that Fisher has had in his entire coaching career. He's had Jameis Winston, he's had Sean McGuire at Florida State, he's had DeAndre Francois, but Kellen Mond, first true dual threat. In this game for Alabama, can they make Texas A&M one-dimensional and force Kellen Mond to beat them throwing the football? Very athletic. This will be the game for Isaiah Buggs, Raekwon Davis, Anthony Jennings, Christian Miller, your defensive ends, your outside linebackers. You have got to corral Kellen Mond, keep him in the pocket. This is also the time for your secondary to give him a bunch of different looks. Confuse him, disguise your coverage, single high safety, 2 safety high, find the football, funnel it to the middle of the field, corral him in the pocket, give him different coverage looks to confuse him. You got to be able to deceive Kellen Mond, bait him into making rough throws. He's an improved passer, but if you can make him one-dimensional, that's what you do for Alabama, if you're Alabama. But number 1, you got to go Kellen Mond here. Moving on down, number 2, sticking with the offensive players to watch out for Texas A&M. In terms of Alabama, we go to the running game where we pick up Trevion Williams, 5'9", 200-pound back. 2 years ago, 2016, Williams was a 1,000-yard rusher, 156 carries, 1,057 yards, 8 touchdowns. Currently this season, he leads the Southeastern Conference in rushing, 59 carries, 399 yards, 1 short off 400, 4 touchdowns. He's averaging 133 yards per game, 6.8 yards per carry. Alabama's defense this season is giving up 3 to 4 yards per carry. This is the game for Mack Wilson and Dylan Moses. They have to step up here. Fill the gaps. The moment you see Trevion Williams, fill the gap, wrap up, make the tackle. At times, Wilson and Moses are so athletic that they forget, slow down, dissect the play, read it, fit the gap. They tend to overrun the play. This week, both of these guys can't afford to do that because despite Williams not being a tall guy, he's compact, he's physical in between the tackles, and he's got a gear once he gets out in the open space. Mack Wilson, Dylan Moses, fit the gap. Read it, see it, fit it, make the play. Big week for both of those two guys. Trevion Williams, number 2. Going down for number 3 here, we pick up wide receiver Jamon Osborne. And here's a guy that all week I saw so many players wearing the jersey number 2 to represent Osborne. Now, A&M, like Ole Miss, has a number of physical guys, 6'3" and taller at wide receiver. For the Aggies, you got Kendrick Rogers, number 13, who's 6'3". You also have Cameron Buckley, number 14, who's 6'2". But I saw the majority of scout team guys for Alabama wear number 2 to represent Jamon Osborne, who's 6'2", 220 pounds. He's averaging 15.5 yards a catch. He's got 13 receptions for 201 yards. Last year, big season for him. 50 catches as a freshman, 571 yards, 3 scores. I remember talking to a close friend of mine who covers Texas A&M. His name is Mark Passwaters. He covers the Aggies for AggieYale.com, part of the Rivals Network. You will actually hear from him in the 3rd segment of the show. But he told me during the summer, Jamon Osborne is a more physical version of Christian Kirk. And we all know the problems Christian Kirk gave Alabama in the receiving game and the return game during his time at College Station. Jamon Osborne, the name you need to watch for at wide receiver if you are the Crimson Tide secondary. But he's my 3rd impact player. Number 4, we go to defensively for the Aggies. We pick up Kingsley Keke, defensive tackle, nose guard. 6'4", 305 pounds, very light on his feet to be a big guy. Quinnen Williams is getting it done for Alabama at nose guard, 6'4", 289, with footwork, quickness, explosion in the backfield. Kingsley Keke is getting it done for Texas A&M, big guy, very light on his feet, and Ross Pierschbaker is going to need some help in this game because Kingsley will be lined up on Pierschbaker. There will be a lot of double teams, whether the help will come from Lester Cotton at left guard or whether the help comes from Alex Netherwood at right guard. Ross Pierschbaker will need some help handling Keke on that defensive line. Kingsley, 11 tackles this year, 4th on the team, 2.5 tackles for loss, does have 1 sack and 1 quarterback hurry. 2017, the young man, 54 tackles, 2 of those for loss and 1 sack. He and Dylan and Dalen Mack were both big-time prospects, but Keke has been more consistent than Dalen Mack has. So, number 4, Kingsley Keke, impact player, looking to stuff the run and create some havoc in the passing game. Last but not least, 5th impact player, wanted to put Ataria Alaka here as he's an honorable mention guy, but I wanted to put Alaka here as an impact player, inside linebacker for the Aggies. He's the guy that's patrolling the front, number 42, but I view this game as Jimbo Fisher's going to want to put Tua Tagovailoa on the ground as much as possible. Here's a game where you want to create some adversity for Tua. Didn't face adversity against Louisville. Didn't face adversity against Arkansas State. Ole Miss, come on. We all know that defense wasn't ready from the get-go. So this game right here is one to where Jimbo Fisher's trying to figure out, how can I frustrate Tua? How can I get some dirt on that jersey? How can I get some dirt in his face mask? How can I create some adversity and some tension toward Tagovailoa? Landis Durham is how you're going to create that. Landis Durham, the edge rusher, my 5th impact player. He's got 10 tackles this year, 3.5 of those for loss, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hurries. But last year in 2017, this young man led the team in sacks with 10, and he had 12 tackles for loss to lead the group. This is the guy that will come off the edge and explode. And if you are Jonah Williams, left tackle, Jedrick Wills, right tackle, know where Landis Durham is at all times. He's got a bend move, he's got a spin move, he's got a rip move, he's got some moves, folks. And his goal, he will try to get Tua on the ground every single time he has a shot to. Running back over these again. 5 players. to watch out for Alabama in terms of Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher, and a team that's averaging 44.3 points a game offensively and very much improved defensively. Number one, Kellen Mond at quarterback, very much improved. Got to frustrate him, make this team one-dimensional. Number two, Travion Williams, running back. Mack Wilson, Dylan Moses, got to fit your gaps when you talk Travion Williams. Number three, wide receiver, Jamon Osmond, more physical Christian Kirk. Whether it's Patrick Surtain Jr. or Trayvon Diggs, somebody's got to sit here and lock up Jamon Osmond. Number four, when you talk about defense, Kingsley Keke, huge, stopping the run. And at number five, Landis Durham, the pass rusher that Jimbo Fisher believes can provide some adversity to Tua Tagovailoa. Taking our final break here on In My Own Words. When we get back, we'll hear from the man himself, Mark Passwaters, AggieYale.com, covering Texas A&M for the Rivals Network. On the other side of the break, folks, don't touch that dial. We go to Behind Enemy Lines on In My Own Words. We'll be right back.